Good afternoon. Let us welcome the members of the new National Party to the podium. A special good evening to the members of the head table. Our opposition leader is not here as yet, but to MP Emlyn Pear, MP Peter David, MP Kate Lewis, the constituency lead for Carriacou and Petite Martinique, Senator Nolan Cox, and Attorney at Law, Mr. Dwight Hosford. And to you, our brothers and sisters, a pleasant Sunday. Welcome to this urgent meeting. Today's meeting will be very informative. But before we get into the meat of the matter of why we're here, I want to caution you to be sober and vigilant and to listen attentively with your ears and your heart. 1 Peter 5:8 advises, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So I want us this afternoon to beware of the rumors, the lies, and deception that is being spread throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. As Ledneck said, don't get tricked. Today we bring to you facts, and more facts. We now call on Mr. Garraway to invite the Lord's blessings on today's meeting. Mr. Garraway.
May we all stand to reverence Almighty God. The word of God in Psalms 34 said, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for this moment, this opportunity you have granted unto us to be here as a new national party, to discuss issues, to discuss the way forward for this country, but most of all, to share love and camaraderie with our brothers and sisters and Grenada as a whole. We pray for this meeting. We pray for those at the head table, our political leader who is on the way. We pray for them, Lord, that your spirit will continue to be upon them. You will continue to inspire them. You'll continue to use them. And as they speak and as they lead, Father, the people will receive. And they in turn will go forth and spread the good news. We understand the challenges and the times that we are living in, and it calls for unity. So we pray at this moment that we unite ourselves together as one. And we will fight this battle together as one. As the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are one, so too we are one. And we pray now that you will join us together. I invite you to say with me the Lord's Prayer as a mark of unity. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For this is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless you. You may have your seat.
Thank you, sir. The Lord said, where 2 or 3 is gathered, he is in the midst to bless. And he is in the midst right now. Let us all stand, and I invite Williams, our very own, to sing the national anthem, followed by our party song. Please stand.
Being proud of our heritage, may we with faith and courage aspire, build, advance as one people, one family. God bless our nation. Thank you. One, two. So you can count on me, working for my party. Faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might, working for the NMP. Say you can count on me, working for my party. Faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might, working for the NNP. And you can count on me, working for my party. Faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might, working for the NNP. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. You all sung very beautiful. You may have your seats. I now invite Mr. Gregory Bowen, the Deputy Political Leader, to give the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I want to recognize the parliamentary arm of the new National Party and Ms. Dwight Hosford, Attorney at Law, at the head table. All political leads, and in this case, I want to especially welcome from Carriacou and Petite, Martinique, Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox. Thank you for taking the time off to be with us. We know how difficult it is in your territory. I want to recognize all the members of the National Executive of the new National Party, branch executives, and in particular, you, the rank and file members of the new National Party. It is you who are keeping us going. It is you that we are looking out for. And with the joint unity mentioned already, we will ensure that we progress and move forward and do what we have to do to ensure that Grenada is come out of the hole that we are in today. So welcome to all of you. We recognize what this meeting is all about, and I will not preempt or go into any details. But in welcoming you, I must remind you that you have a fundamental task to play. We have started the process, and you know what has happened in the Parliament. Today, we come as the messengers to bring the message to all the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and the Petite Martinique. Remember too, those in the diaspora, it must not be a one-way traffic of they talking to us only. We must speak to them and tell them exactly what is going on in our country. So thank all of you for coming. Welcome, enjoy it, and let us leave here with the energy and strength to provide what we have to do and bring the words of the new National Party to all Grenadians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Political Leader. We have very limited time, so we'll go straight into today's presentation. So I now invite our very first speaker for the evening, Brother Dwight Hosford, to speak to us on the voters' registration.
Thank you, Madam MC. And a pleasant good afternoon to all our sisters and brothers of the new National Party. I like the numbers I'm seeing today. Not even the rain will stop the new National Party. I want to especially recognize my sisters and brothers at the head table, Sister Emmeline Pear, Brother Peter David, Brother Nolan Cox, Sister Kate Lewis, and Sister Clarice Modest Cohen. Our political leader is on his way. Sisters and brothers, these are troubled times. Very troubled times. And the only political organization that knows how to run the country is the New National Party. In these times, we are seeing a lot of strange things. Not only the country in a whole, but we realize that we have a government that is arrogant and unprepared. Arrogant and unprepared to lead. And so we are here today, and this is the first of a series of meetings, because we are not only talking house business today, we are talking national business, the interests of the people we're discussing. And so today, I want to talk just for a brief moment about a very important aspect of our work. The work that lies ahead of us, sisters and brothers. When our party was founded almost 40 years ago in 1984, the party committed itself to respect for the rule of law, to protect and uphold the interests of the individual. You, the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite. Party committed itself to that. NNP committed itself to democracy. Now you'll hear all kinds of talk and all sorts of propaganda. But there's only one true party in this country that's committed to the democratic process, that's the New National Party. And let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. Democracy requires vigilance. Democracy requires action, sisters and brothers. And for us today, one of the areas of urgently needed action is the voter registration list and its examination, canvassing the list. Canvassing the list. Between September 2022 and July of this year, we have noticed a dramatic surge in the registration of voters in certain key constituencies and areas in this country. Unprecedented, never like this before. And from our examination of these new registrants, we have discerned that the objective by this government that is running scared is to pad the voters list. You hear what I tell you? To pad the voters list. What is voter padding? Voter padding is a practice of adding people, adding persons to the voters list in a constituency so as to increase the margin or increase the quota of vote share of one party or particular candidate. And usually, adding persons who really don't belong on the list. So they take us for stupidity. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been advised that our political leader is here. Dr. Mitchell is as well. Button. Yes, sisters and brothers, another welcome for our political leader. So friends, I was telling you about the padding. But what they failed to realize is that the new National Party was consecrated in 1984 to protect democracy in this country, so they're not going to fool us. We onto it. We are onto it. And this is why I want to advise you of these few things. It is critical that we train our canvassers. Canvasser training is critical. It is important and most critical now that our people in canvassing are trained to fish out those padded voters on the list. This is very serious, sisters and brothers, because you could have all the rallies, all the big junction meeting, all the wine and dance and wave for persons at the head table and Dr. Mitchell, and it will take us nowhere unless we sanitize the list, unless we catch them, unless we use the law against them, which is to find the padders, the padded voters, and get them off of the list. That is important. And so, as one of my brothers have said, the training has begun, and it will not end just there. We will have special groups of you dedicated to fishing out the padded voters list. And so, sisters and brothers, canvassers must pay attention to the list. Every addendum that comes out, examine it. You need to know and be aware of the people that live in your constituency, and more particularly, people that live in your polling division. Because every polling division is in focus by this exercise. And we are formulating a centralized and uniform approach to this exercise, a structured approach across the board, every constituency. That is the action that we will be taking. But we can do nothing without you. The protection of our democracy is not just a job for our canvassers. Each and every one of you need to play a part. You see, we just sing a song. We're going to fight with all our might, working for the NNP. Well, working for the NNP is not sitting down and complaining. You will have to assist the canvassers as well, because you know who live in your area and you know who don't live in your area. So you will be called upon to help us. And that is where you must stand up, sisters and brothers, because the times are critical, very critical. And so, sisters and brothers, in the coming weeks and months, more work will be done on this front, because this is vital, this is critical work to protect our democracy and to ensure that the new National Party is able to rescue Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And so I want to thank all of you for your listening ears, and my sisters and brothers at the political head table for allowing me an opportunity to share some of these thoughts with you and to encourage you to move into action. Because from this day onward, as I said, from this meeting onward, it will be onward and upward until we are able to rescue our country. Thank you very much, sisters and brothers. Keep hope alive.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Hosford. You were very, very informative. Old people used to say, all you know, I always have something to say. So old people used to say, if you don't have nothing good to say, hush your mouth. And if you know it's a lie, you go in and lie in them people's place, hush your mouth too. But can you imagine that in Parliament, they wanted to shut up the NNP from speaking the truth? And instead, they allowed the government to stand up and spill lies upon lies upon lies, telling the opposition leader that he should withdraw his statement. Withdraw? Withdraw what? They feel that is an ATM? Hey. A statement that is factual, and a statement that can be proven, you know. But that's not my only issue, you know, with this, brothers and sisters. My issue is this. What I dislike the most here is the statement itself and the blatant disregard and lack of empathy for people. To say it is shocking is an understatement. And they have the audacity to state that they ain't say nothing about them teachers. But what they didn't know, all you know what they didn't know? They didn't know that we had the tape. Any soca lovers inside here? What Dash tell Ollie for power soca? He tell Ollie the tape don't lie. And the tape would never lie. It never lie yet. But due to time constraints, we wouldn't play it here. But the tape will be provided. But here's what I want you to do, though. I want you to like and follow all our MPs and constituency leads, and you will see the tape. At this time, I would like to call upon a humble soul, a family man, a loyal one, the constituency lead for Carriacou and Petite Martinique, to speak briefly on the issues affecting Carriacou.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I think I want to start off by saying we have the tip. Let me take this opportunity to recognize our esteemed political leader, distinguished political leader, our deputy political leader, other members of the New National Party executive. Also to recognize members of the Carriacou and Petite executive branch, some of them who are here and those who are listening in, and also our New York chapter as well. It's important to recognize the work of everybody. And of course, you, the hard-working soldiers of the New National Party, pleasant evening and welcome for being here this evening. As you may know, Carriacou and Petite is at a critical juncture right now. I think the best way to describe where we are at a crossroad. And we are having some serious challenges. But we are motivated because the number one party, the National Party, is here and is standing strong with Carriacou and Petite. Friends, let me first talk about what is taking place with our residents. As you know, a lot of our homes have been destroyed. Persons are struggling to get back on their feet. Persons are relocating for one reason or the other, for job opportunities, for school purposes for our kids, for health reasons. So it's a very torrid time for our sister islands, both Petite and Carriacou. One of our biggest challenges right now is housing, brothers and sisters. But what is sad, as recent as Friday, we had the opportunity to debate an appropriation bill put forward by the government. And in that appropriation bill, and not taking anything away from St. Patrick's and St. Mark's, but there were allocations for 200 houses for St. Mark's and St. Patrick's. And what is taking place in Carriacou, they are giving out tents. Could you imagine? More than 80% of the houses are damaged. And not a single house is a mark for Carriacou and Petite. They are giving out tents, brothers and sisters. That is the situation that we have on the ground. Well, let me tell you more about the money. They earmarked $15 million for the 200 houses at $50,000 a piece, and I know we have some mathematicians in the house. And that totals up to $10 million. So $5 million is unaccounted for. So pay attention to that, brothers and sisters. Pay attention to that. Brothers and sisters, we are very grateful for the support of the National Party, the leadership, the members, ordinary members who have been sending supplies to Carriacou, all our donor agencies, all our support in the diaspora, Canada, in the US, who have been sending and giving support, calling, checking on us. We are very grateful for that support, and we want to thank them wholeheartedly for their contribution. Brothers and sisters, we have a challenge. Just imagine school is about to start tomorrow. And the Minister for Education came a couple days before the official opening of school and said to Carriacouans and Petite Mandicans, he wouldn't have school, but in the next 2 weeks we will see what's happening. You know, and I said to him, I am a parent, and you are a parent. Do you think the situation that exists in Carriacou it is satisfactory to come a few days to speak to parents about school. I mean, this is crazy. And what was his response? He see no issue with that. He saw no issue with that. Brothers and sisters, a number of the schools are being used for shelters, and gradually persons are moving out of the shelters. Some of the schools are damaged significantly. Some of the schools are non-existent, like for Dover School. It's no more. Dover School is, I think, is probably 80 or 90 years old. And so that school has been demolished entirely. But what has happened with the cleanup, brothers and sisters, is that all our recreation ground currently are official dump sites. Could you imagine I pass in, I see a sign up saying that garbage collection 7 a.m., between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. on our recreation grounds. Could you imagine? Our recreation grounds where we need it now more than ever so that our youths can go out to engage in activities, sporting activities and other activities to help deal with the issues and the stress related to the hurricane. They cannot do that. They cannot do that because all those grounds are filled with garbage. But what are they doing now? They're clearing an area where they should have actually put the garbage down by the dump to put people to stay. Could you imagine? I have never seen more craziness. I've never seen more craziness. You have a situation where garbage has been moved from one place to the other. It's over 2 months, and all the garbage is still on island. All the garbage in Carriacou is still on island. So you could imagine what is taking place at those sites. Some of those playing fields, they have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to just repair them just a few months ago. And they have destroyed them totally. They have destroyed them totally. We have a serious issue that we have to pay close attention to. And we have been given a clarion call for persons who are living in Carriacou for one reason or the other to reconsider coming back. Because when we look at the figures, between 2011 and 2021, our population reduced by about 1,000. So you could imagine what has taken place after the hurricane. So we are very concerned with reduce in population, how it will affect businesses, the survival of business. It's a very serious situation. So we want to ensure that we can work to get Carriacou and Petite back up and running as quickly as possible so that people can have the confidence to come back, to live there, and to invest, and to ensure that Carriacou and Petite continue to grow and prosper. But what is happening, brothers and sisters, it's a series of attacks on our people. And you see it on social media. Even after the parliamentary rep drive around a few days after the hurricane and said to persons on a loudspeaker, I heard it for myself. He said that the government will help build back all your houses, everybody's houses, only to find out that he turned around and said, you have your money, so build your house back for yourself. Could you imagine? Who does that? Who does such a thing? Your own people. The people who gave you an opportunity to represent them. The people who came out and voted for you. You have a responsibility as a government. You have a responsibility to look after your people in times of distress. Whether they have money in the bank or not, you have a responsibility to make sure that everybody, each and every single Carriacouans and Petite are looked after, because it's a crisis. So once you start singling out, you know that is an issue. That is a big problem. Brothers and sisters, don't talk about the corruption. Don't talk about the nepotism, the unfairness. And what we're learning now is that people refuse to go to NADMA for supplies because they cannot take the insults. They cannot take the abuse. So we're hearing that a lot of stuff is being spoiled and being dumped because people fear going for it, because you never know, you might get a life here in that you pass and collect a pack of ramen and you come back for another one. So people don't want to go. People don't want to go because they fear that they will be ridiculed in public for stuff that was donated for their support. Could you imagine? People give this, they send it for the people, and yet they have to take abuse before they can get it for their use. This is sad, brothers and sisters. This is very sad. But I want to say this, and I want us to be very vigilant. This government know what they're doing. They are very deliberate in their actions. It is clear that they do not care about people. I mean, it is clear that Carriacou and Petite is going to see some trouble under this government. 2 months after suffering the worst disaster in the existence of Carriacou and Petite, we are struggling to get some support to rebuild our home. I just can't imagine. 2 months after. We are the epicenter of the disaster. But yet for all, we see little or no major or serious efforts in helping our people recover. We are very concerned. I am very concerned. And we have to, as a party, do everything we can to support our brothers and sisters in Carriacou and Petite. We have to. Could you imagine the new National Party government with the support of the People's Republic of China? We have a housing unit with about 100 units sitting there with a few busted windows, a couple of sheets of galvanized peel off, but you're giving tents. Why you can't repair it and allow people to go in there so that our shelters can free up so that we can start school? What is so difficult about that? What is the issue? They have to come clean. They have to come clean with the people's housing. They have to come clean with the people's housing. Brothers and sisters, we are encouraged. We are encouraged because the new National Party is the only party, has been and will continue to be the only party that is best for this tri-island state of Greater Carriacou and Petite, without a shadow of a doubt. I want to just veer off a little bit into the area of sports. And you see, recently, we have been celebrating our Olympians. I want us to give them a round of applause. They have done us proud and continue to lift us on the international stage. And we really want to pay homage to Kirani James, who has really set the stage, set the mark. But you hear reports as if nothing ever happened for our winning athletes before. You have two massive infrastructure for cricket and athletics and football that was done by the National Party. Look at an investment. And it is the new National Party who has really created that opportunity for athletes to excel. We have invested in not just in infrastructure, but directly into our athletes. And when you hear what is taking place with the National Lotteries Authority, some of the sporting organizations, they are suffering. They cannot get any support for athletes to go out and train. Cricket, look at, is actually dead. in Grenada. It looks like it is almost to the grave because they are not getting any support from the government. Could you imagine? We have done a lot for our athletes, but some of it, we have decided as a party to do the principal thing and not to speak publicly of some of the things that we have done for them. But they know that we have helped them significantly. We have helped them tangible-wise. We have helped them financial-wise. And all the records are there. The records are there. The cabinet conclusions are there to show that we have helped. And we have helped significantly. And we are very proud about that. And if we are challenged at any point in time to speak publicly, we will so do. But we don't feel that we have to do that at this point in time. Our athletes are doing well. We supported them. We give them all the support that they need, and we continue to support them and encourage them in their endeavors. And we believe that that is satisfactory. We do not have to, everything that we assist people with, we do not have to advertise everything. We do not have to. Sometimes it is best that the ordinary man spread the word than you put it out there for yourself. So brothers and sisters, before I close, I want to leave one thing with you today. And I want you to repeat this as a mantra between now and December, because I want it to stick. I want when you say it, everybody in the household should hear it. And it's very simple to say, it's very easy to remember. NNP is number one. Repeat after me. NNP is number one. Brothers and sisters, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and continue to support Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Just like the tape didn't lie, the records don't lie either. We have the records and we have the tape. I just want to say to you, Senator Cox, that we have experienced Hurricane Ivan, and we do empathize with the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. So we send our love and our prayers, and we will continue to support. I don't know if any one of you is aware, but the NMP has a Meals on Wheels program in Carriacou currently, where one can get hot meals on a daily basis. So we want to thank the executive for thinking of this initiative, and I know the people of Carriacou is very happy to have such a dedicated and devoted constituency lead. Give a round of applause again for Senator Nolan Cox. Our next presenter is a very young and vibrant and tiny MP, but she has a very big heart. Let's welcome Honorable Kate Lewis, and she will be speaking on youth.
Thank you very much. NMP! NMPites! We looking good. And we sounding good. NMP is? NMP is? Number one. Thank you, Madam Chair. NMP is number one. Print it, Lindana. Let me recognize, of course, members, first of all, our political leader, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Members of the National Executive and my fellow MPs, Brother Peter David, Senator Nolan Cox, Brother Dwight Horsford, MP Emmeline Pear, Dr. Clarice Modeste, other members of the executive in the audience, but of course, a special welcome to all of you, our new National Party supporters. You see, anytime we call, you just answer the call. And it does not matter how short of time you get. We said emergency meeting, and you are here. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Today, I will speak to you about the issues concerning the young people of our country. But of course, I must remind you who are here and those following online of the work of the new National Party towards youth development. The NMP, the new National Party, is the only party that cares about the young people of our country. And as a party in government, we have invested heavily in youth development. A budgetary support of over $40 million annually. Today we have a youth center. Let's welcome our GenSec and my former MP, Brother Roland Bowler. Today we have a youth center and the Ministry of Youth because of the foresight and vision of the new National Party. We can boast about the many programs and projects that give young people the opportunity to thrive. Today, they are doing well in higher education, decent jobs. Some of them have their own small businesses, and it means they are making their contribution towards national development. We must never forget that it was the new National Party to establish the new Imani program. We must never forget that it was the NNP that established the Empower program. And what about the Youth Bees program for our young entrepreneurs? It was the new National Party. The first ever youth garment factory was established by the new National Party. What about Project Fly and Project Reach at Her Majesty's Prison? And I tell you, the list can go on and on. Thousands of young people benefited. Higher academic qualifications, on-the-job training and job placements, a variety of CVQ and NVQ skills at various levels, loans and grants to start their own businesses done through the Grenada Development Bank. I don't want to go into who are receiving the loans from the Grenada Development Bank. Now you know. All I would say is not our young entrepreneurs. We understand that the future of our country lies in the hands of our young people. And that is why we invested heavily in them and adequately ensuring that they can contribute to our national economy. Let us look, ladies and gentlemen, at the past 2 years, from June 2022. We have observed that there is no new initiatives from the Ministry of Youth to support young people in our country. A matter of fact, the biggest achievement of this government in office as it relates to youth development is the firing of 2 youth ministers. That's all they have achieved in the past 2 years. The new Imani program, what happened to it? It was announced that it will be put under the National Training Agency, NTA. 2 years later, the program is on life support, struggling to survive. And the new Imani trainees are filling the brunt of it. Furthermore, youth bees. Do you remember the number of young entrepreneurs who receive loans and grants under this program? And we use the slogan, transforming lives through entrepreneurship. And many young persons' lives were indeed transformed because of youth bees. They received loans from the Grenada Development Bank. Because at that time, we as ministers and the directors at the time did not take the loan for themselves. It seems like the GDB is now a minister's bank. And we must say no to this. This is corruption, and we are here to stamp out corruption in any form. What about the Empower program for young men? They had the opportunity to improve their lives, develop new skills. This program is no more. Very sad. But we have been making several calls to bring back the program. You know what they did? A knee-jerk reaction. They said, come young men, come, register, register, register. Of course, the young men looking for some hope, they went and they registered. Up to now, as somebody said, few months later, we have heard nothing. Another mama guy for the young men of this country. I told you it is only the new national party that cares about the young people. So our young people should not be surprised as to what is happening now. Yes, they fell for some election gimmicks. What does the saying, how does the saying goes? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. But I'm telling you, they will not be able to fool the young people for a second time. They will not be able to do it. Because the new national party is here to rescue the young people of this country. So, because they failed to deliver on so many promises made to our young people, they are now feeling marginalized. Do you remember the promise that all Imanis will be made permanent? Not just permanent, you know, but within the first 12 months in office? 24, 25, 26, 27 months have gone. They said the first 12. I'm not sure how they are counting. But our new Imani trainees who are promised permanent, we are calling on the government to obey its promise to the new Imani trainees. Make them permanent, as you said. Furthermore, we have seen an increase in youth unemployment. And this is alarming. Young people are being sent home from the jobs. Imani trainees have been called and asked to remain at home. Their stipends have been cut. A particular number want to challenge me on this statement. I am saying it again. I said a number. I don't know if it's number 2. I don't know if it's number 3. I don't know. A particular number. However, I am saying it again. Imani trainees have been asked to remain at home and eventually removed from the program. You get the numbers from the ministry and you will see the facts. Ladies and gentlemen, NMP! NMPites! We're still on youth. Compounding these challenges was the reduction in budgetary support towards youth development. I told you, this administration right now does not care about the young people in this country. Imagine they cut the amount of money to be spent on youth development. So, if you care about the young people, you would have to allocate sufficiently for them. But I understand, because they have not created no new programs. The programs they met are on life support, so they don't need money for youth. But I want to remind the young people of this country, our new National Party administration budgeted over $40 million annually. And we went further ahead. So whenever there was a supplemental budget, there was something there for youth development. I saw this last supplemental budget, and all I am seeing, MIT, MIT, MIT. Like we only have one ministry now, MIT. And listen, MIT is a man, you know. So that is where the money going. I want to say to this government that our young people deserves better. Our young people deserves more. And we, the new National Party, cares about our young people. And therefore, I want to recommend the following to this administration. Number one, I'm giving them because our young people will benefit. And that is who we care about, the young people of this country. Establish and enhance youth engagement programs and projects to provide a platform for our young people so that they can be empowered and as a result contribute towards national development. Number two, all the promises that were made during the election campaign, fulfill them. Fulfill the promises made to the young people. We are watching and we are waiting. Number three, reallocate sufficient budgetary means for our young people so that they can be a priority. Prioritize budgetary support for our young people. And finally, involve our young people, social partners, all stakeholders, including the community. Engage leaders, like those of us on this team, the new National Party, to help you fight the crime and violence in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. And remember, it is only the new National Party, the NMP, that cares about the young people of this country. I thank you.
Thank you, Sister Kate. Sister Kate, they can't study the youths, right? You know why? because they're busy planting trees and they're busy putting up a set of lights. Someone in the crowd had asked, what is MIT? My thoughts, Ministry of Beautification, because that's all we're doing, planting a set of trees around the place and we're forgetting the youths and critical parts in the country. Indeed, the youths is the future of tomorrow and must be taken care of today. I have one piece of advice, though, for the government. Tell the truth, and the truth shall set you free. They fail to realize that the truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it will never go away. Our next speaker is no stranger to the podium, and he will be speaking on matters that is very dear to my heart and to the hearts of the people in the countryside, agriculture. Let's welcome the town of St. George's stalwart, Honorable Peter David.
Kami. I just realized Kami in the audience. Thank you, Madam Chair. Political leader, Dr. Mitchell, Deputy Political Leader, my dear Gregory Boy, and other members at the head table, comrades of the executive, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleasantly surprised to see such a wonderful turnout this afternoon. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. I want to also commend the supporters of the party for always being there, because at the end of the day, the NMP is nothing without the members of the party. Again, give yourselves a round of applause for always being there. I've been asked to do two difficult things. One, speak on agriculture, and two, be short about it. I don't know how to be short about agriculture, but I'll try, because you see, the fact is, when we speak of agriculture, as the chairman indicated, we're speaking about the rural community. The rural community, agriculture is embedded in it. You know, one friend of mine told me the other day, in the countryside years ago, nutmeg was like the currency. In other words, if you had a bag of nutmeg, it's a bag of money. So agriculture is critical to the rural community, our farming community. Our farmers, men, women, and young people involved in the sector, they are the reason why Grenada continues to develop. But the truth is, and I have to be brief as I indicated, Hurricane Beryl devastated several sectors. Two sectors, as the political leader indicated the other day when he started in Parliament. One, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. And I want to say to Brother Cox that we stand with you, and you are doing a great job in Carriacou and Petite Martinique to help the people. The second area is the farmers. Hurricane Beryl devastated thousands of trees, mostly nutmeg, cocoa, soursop. They have been devastated, and the farmers need urgent attention. I therefore call on the government to do the following. One, begin immediately to compensate all of the farmers. The farmers need to get up and running urgently. Increase the budget. We cannot work with a small budget for agriculture when agriculture is so critical to our economy. I worry that many of the farmers who have suffered the loss of their trees are considering abandoning agriculture. The fact is that many of the farmers, the older ones particularly, are saying, Hurricane Ivan hit, we got up and running, it took some time. Now Beryl hit. Should I continue? Will I live to see the nutmeg trees come back? Will I live to see cocoa trees come back? Should I stay in or should I get out? And the only way forward is to give the farmers some hope. And that is where the government comes in. Brothers and sisters, we need to come together to chart the way forward in the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector needs the same kind of attention that is given to the tourism industry and the CBI. The fact is, the CBI was rebranded. You hear conferences about CBI. I have no difficulty with that because I support CBI. In fact, when this present government was in opposition, they spent days upon days of criticizing the CBI, but now it's the same CBI money they're using to build this country. I have no difficulty with CBI, but agriculture needs the same level of attention. A similar approach must be adopted with agriculture. And as we approach a new era, because believe it or not, we are entering a new phase in our development, we must make great advances in agriculture. Despite the promise of transformation, the agricultural sector seems to be reversing. Nothing has been done, in my view, to indicate that this government is taking agriculture seriously. I therefore make a call tonight for a major conference with all stakeholders on the future of agriculture in this country. The government needs to work with all stakeholders to develop the sector, but most importantly, to develop a vision with the farmers. Because if you do not have a vision, you will perish. And we need to give the farmers the vision for the way forward on agriculture. As there is a time constraint, I have to be brief. I will just outline some of the areas I think that need to be addressed. Financing for young farmers. We need to provide financing. It continues to be easier to get money to buy a car than it is to start a farm. We need to correct that. When we were in government, we began talks with all of the financial stakeholders to make it easier. The government needs to continue that, and we need to have that as a pillar in our development. The issue of labor in agriculture. We need to ensure that the agricultural sector is well provided with labor. Without proper labor, all farmers will tell you the agricultural sector will not move forward. And I'm speaking to the farmers this evening. The issue of available land. We started the land bank. The land bank was a program where you ask the private sector and the government to put their land into a land bank so that people can have available land for development. Many of the businessmen came forward. I am not seeing any development in that regard because a major impediment on agriculture, again, is available arable land. We need to get that going. Brothers and sisters, well, I don't want to go on and on about it, but predial larceny continues to be a huge problem, and there is no apparent focus in that regard. The price of inputs, particularly the price of animal feed. I remember my brother Dabrio spending hours upon hours in the cabinet talking about how we can get the reduction in animal feed in this country. I am not hearing about it. It seems to me that agriculture has been put on the back burner. The use of technology in the sector must be part of the discussions. Markets for our products. What has become of the marketing board? I am hearing nothing about the marketing board. What is happening with the farmers in relation to the marketing board? Nothing. These are the serious issues that we have to address, or else agriculture will not go forward. Brothers and sisters, we need to work with the farmers for added value. We need to deal with the restructuring of the commodity boards. I know there are people who don't like to hear that. The nutmeg and cocoa boards need to be restructured. The issue of their survival is on the table. We must address this. We cannot bury our heads in the sand on this issue. We need, these commodity boards are facing a crisis. And there needs to be some intervention with some strategic plan forward for cocoa and nutmeg boards, or else we will have a problem in the sector. Another issue is airlift. Airlift so that we can get the products out to the markets. We do a lot. We pay British Airways, we pay Virgin Atlantic, we pay all these airlines. I remember Sister Clarice. Sister Clarice, as Minister of Tourism, did an excellent job in increasing airlift so that farmers can get their products out into the world. That is the only way we will get the industry developed. And brothers, the linkages with tourism. We need to solidify these linkages. The problem is, just like the CBI, we need to focus. And we need also to rebrand the sector. We need to rebrand the sector to be more attractive to young people. You see, all these issues must be addressed. Because the new generation of people will not be as patient as their parents and foreparents. Young people in waiting around for years for agriculture to become profitable. 5 weeks, 5 months, and they're gone. Because they need to get it done now. This period is a period where people want to get it now. Therefore, I believe that if we don't do these things, there will be a flight from agriculture. I don't want to sound alarmist, but there will be a flight from agriculture that will result in people coming back into the south, into the areas in the city, looking for jobs, and the rural economy will be in decline if we do not do something to revive the sector. I dare say, brothers and sisters, I worry. I worry that this government is not listening. I worry that this government does not have the experience to understand the possible impact of all of this on the entire country. Agriculture is not just some men digging some plants. It is the bedrock of this society, particularly our rural economy. And brothers and sisters, I worry that they will not act. But if they do not act, we will act to ensure that we are back there to develop the agricultural sector. Because the truth is the backbone of this party is in the agricultural sector. Look at the parliament and see who won all their seats in St. Andrew. It was the NNP, because the farmers understand that the NNP stands for agriculture. Brothers and sisters, I have been Minister of Tourism. I was Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Labor for many years. But I was Minister of Agriculture for the shortest period. But it was as Minister of Agriculture that I had the greatest lesson. And it taught me the importance of this sector to the people in the rural community, and convinced me that we must do everything in our capacity to ensure that the sector not only survives, but becomes a commanding force in the development of this country. And it is my view that while this government is not doing it, I give my commitment to work with this party so that we go back into power. Because that is the only way, as Sister Kate said and the others before me said, it is with the NNP in office that we will see a resurgence of agriculture in this society. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. The government stated, and don't quote me, I'm paraphrasing, that they're sorry. They're sorry that the opposition wasn't in parliament so that they can school them. Well, I'm real sorry too, you know. Sorry that we weren't there to stand up on a point of order and say all you're lying in this honorable house. And let me use colloquial language. They too lie. Brothers and sisters, they told many lies during the campaign, and these lies continue even today. They lied about making people permanent, and they're still trying to lie their way out of giving NMP the credit for the insurance policy that resulted in the government receiving $118 million to help people after the passage of burial. But listen, a certain individual, but we ain't calling names because we are professionals. They stood up and confidently opened their mouths to spew nonsense and attempted to spread false information in the same honorable house, and it was allowed. She stated that CRIF was started in 2015, and as a result, quite a number of different natural disasters in the region. And it took us 8 years 8 years, to join. Well, I pray God have mercy on these people, Because CRIF started in 2007 following Hurricane Ivan. And Grenada was the poster child of CRIF and has been a member from since the inception, and we have this on record. Again, the tape doesn't lie. You see how things does work? I feel that sing that song for us, for such a time like this. We have tape after tape after tape. I had the pleasure of working with this next speaker, distributing food bags to the village of St. Mark's. A little bird told me that she is the one who had discharged me and my mother from the general hospital after my birth. But if you're talking about loyalty, then you're speaking about Dr. Modeste. Welcome, Dr. Modeste, as she speaks on issues on health.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Let me greet our head table, our distinguished head table, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, our political leader, Sister Emmeline Pear, Honorable Sister Emmeline Pear, Honorable Sister Kate Lewis, MPs, Honorable Peter David, Brother Nolan Cox, and Brother Dwight Hosford, and all the NNPites, NNPites. Well, I don't know if Sister Kate steal me line or if I steal in hers, but what I had on my thing, when we call NNP answer, and you are here today, NNP, give yourself a round of applause. The people of St. Mark, where are you? It don't look as if I give all you enough food, but next time. St. Mark is here, always willing and ready to support NNP. I want to bring special greetings to the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Carriacou and Petite Martinique, we care about you. Not so long ago, while our Prime Minister of the country was hovering in helicopter and visiting every day and coming and turn around, the political leader, myself and others, we jump up on a little boat, yes? And we brought food and we brought hope to Carriacou and Petite Martinique. That is NNP. Let them learn from that. It's not how many trips you make, but the value, the content, and the importance of the trip that you made. And I want to compliment NNP, Dr. Mitchell, for his leadership in bringing hot meals to Carriacou and bringing hygienic facilities to Carriacou when they didn't think about it. Brothers and sisters, this is a very painful time. Painful time for us. I listened to a song by Morgan Heritage. To be honest with you, the last few days is the first time I really listened to that song. And he's asking, do you see anything to smile about? The school children, you know the song? Do you see anything to smile about? It's something so, I don't know the rest. But the point is, he's asking about the school children with tears in their eyes. He's asking about the police people, the support for them, the youth, everybody. Do you see anything happening to smile about for these people, brothers and sisters, since the NDC came in office? Nothing. Nothing, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, the only hope we have is the new national party, and we better believe it. Brothers and sisters, not even in the time of Hurricane Ivan, after Ivan, did we see such hopelessness and sadness, because we knew we could hold on, because we had a leader and we had a team of people who cared, a team of people who cut their salaries by 10%, a meager salary, while others now trying to build theirs. We cut ours so that the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique could get support and that we could recover, brothers and sisters. So compliments to NNP, you have to hold your head up high. We have nothing to be ashamed of. And then to top it, in very short order, well, some say 8 years, some say 15 years, but I know it's 2007. NNP, again under the leadership of Dr. Mitchell, we signed that CRIFT agreement. That is why we have $118 million they're waiting. Brothers and sisters, and that is why we're saying, release it for the people. Now is not time for relief, for people to be begging for a case of water. Now is time for recovery. NDC government, we are saying, release the people. Let us recover Grenada, because NNP laid the groundwork. NNP laid the foundation for you to have the money to do so. Release the money to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Brothers and sisters, you know, I have to talk on health, but I must talk a little bit about the supplementary. The supplementary, if you hear big money, 30 million, 15 million, how many million? But no substance. We ask so many questions. What is it for? They even went so far as to say nearly all the houses in St. Mark and St. Patrick destroyed. Now, quite a bit in St. Patrick destroyed, some in St. Mark, but not nearly all. So if you say nearly all, you lay in the groundwork to pad up. And when you spend it, you're going to explain it's because St. Mark was brutally damaged and St. Patrick. But we know it's not so. Why that big money that you cannot explain, brothers and sisters? They're planning again to do what they want with the nation's money. So we must talk. They thought they could silence us in Parliament. This is the Parliament of the people. And we are here, brothers and sisters, to tell you what you do not know. Brothers and sisters, only big figures, only millions, the CRIF money, let's use it. I saw something for 3,830,000, I have it in my head, for vehicles, for the recovery effort. So I asked around, how much for pickup? They tell me about 150,000. How much for a regular size truck? About 150,000. I divide that money, and you could buy 25 vehicles with that money. Brother Cox, you see 25 vehicles, trucks, and pickup walking in Carriacou? It's not there. Where that money gone? Just big money dropping, brothers and sisters. Then they said 15 million for roads. Lot 2 roads, lot 3 roads, all about the island. And you know, St. Mark's people tell me how to talk about them. Plenty roads, 15 million, not one for St. Mark. You know why? Do you know why you don't want for St. Mark? St. Mark people have been too smart, too wise to see through their promises, their empty promises and their lies. And they have always voted consistently for NNP. St. Mark, give yourself a round of applause. Not a road for St. Mark. Brothers and sisters, a YouTube channel for tourism. I don't want to go too far. $2.5 million. By YouTube channel for tourism, well, we don't know what propaganda they're going to use it for, but it could be good. But the point is, they said since the beginning of 2023, they had to establish it, but they didn't have funds. So what I'm asking, where the big CBI funds? Why you want to wait on Beryl to take the money from the victims of Beryl to put up a YouTube station, brothers and sisters? They can't answer the question. They say, we're afraid. We wanted a bigger parliament. We wanted the real parliament. That's why we came here, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, the farmers tell me to say one thing, and I don't want to. Brother Peter was excellent on agriculture. But the farmers tell me to say that that limit they give, if you have 5 acres, you get 4,000, on 5 and under, you get 4,005 to help. If you have above 5 acres, you get 9,000. Check it out, what you have to pay workers and what you have to pay to clear your land. How you recovering so that we can have food security with that money. Let us use the $118 million. Farmers need more money. And the farmers know, poor farmers, the machines to cut the trees. Chainsaw. Farmers caught in big tree with cutlass in this day and age. That could have never happened under NNP, brothers and sisters. With $118 million to spend, farmers, every parish would have had some of the chainsaws to do. But they're still cutting with cutlass. And while the vine's growing in the land, they tell farmers to wait until the end of September. By the next 3 months, they're going to get the money. So in the meantime, farmers have to sit and fold their arms and wait for that money that is already there. How many weeks now they get that money? That money just there, but big figures passing for other things. So brothers and sisters, that we didn't miss anything. We saw all the games in the supplemental. We saw all the big money, and when we asked how many houses that mean, they couldn't tell us. How many from St. Mark's? Don't mix St. Mark's and St. Patrick. Tell us how much St. Mark's getting. Tell us how much St. Patrick's getting. They could not tell us that, but they came with the millions of dollars in figures. Brothers and sisters, let us hold them accountable. They have to tell us how they're spending that money that belongs to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And the parliament just started, but they give me a limited time, and they said I was talk too long. So I have to keep it tight. And I must talk about health. Because brothers and sisters, the health of any nation is the wealth of the nation. The health of the people, that is what makes a nation. And therefore we are concerned. We're going into the 3rd year since NDC took office. And we have not seen, as the song says, as Pekiada song, no betterment to come. We can't see no betterment, brothers and sisters. Every time they buy a little bit supplies, and then when you run out, they're struggling to get some more. And you know, with all that 30 million and 20 million and how many millions that they put down for other things, health only get 5. With all the problems health have. Just the other day, I understand they didn't have a particular IV fluid. They didn't have drips. And when people ill, they want drips. Somebody had to rush down from the US with the drips for them. If it's not a tablet, it's a drip. If it's not that, it's something else, brothers and sisters. And with all the big figures floating around, only 5 million for health. With all the lights that they put up for independence on the Carriacou, what millions? Some of that could have gone to health, and then they take it down, and what happened with it? If you had saved some lives, if you had made some people more comfortable, that millions that was spent on the Carriacou with lights would have made Grenadians happier, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, the shortage is too frequent. Every country will have shortage now and then, but the shortage is too frequent. I am also very concerned about how the deaths, the infant mortality is being handled. I am not here to blame. I don't know where the blame is. But when you have a certain number of children dying in a short period of time, there has to be an investigation. And people are concerned. The families are concerned. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique are concerned. And therefore, after that investigation, we should know what happened, brothers and sisters. There should be educational programs. Tell people what to do if your child has sickle cell. And I want to compliment that nurse who came on Brother Sheldon's program and explained to people, because nobody else is coming on the public service media to tell us what our people what to do, brothers and sisters. This is so sad. As a matter of fact, we have a new minister for health. And me and the man are not there, and I don't want me and him to vex. But the point is, he has been there long enough for us to hear him. The problems are great enough for him to tell us that there is COVID, and the number of infection cases are rising, and that there's malaria, and there's monkeypox, and what we should do, or what the ministry is doing to help us with that. We need to hear him, and we need him to put his technical people to speak to us. Remember COVID? Remember COVID? We had press conferences nearly every day, telling the people what is the progress, what is the statistics. We had the technical people, chief medical officers, coming to tell people what confronts us and how we should deal with it. And up to now, I have heard nothing. I heard the minister mention thanks to the Samaritan purse and so on and so on. I was waiting to hear what he said, but he was going to say what his ministry and his government did for health, brothers and sisters, especially for Carriacou and Petite Martinique. I am still listening for that, brothers and sisters. On the western coast, and I'm winding down, on the western coast, there is an excellent polyclinic facility that Brother Dabra and I, we fought to get, and to get it equipped, brothers and sisters. And at that time, Brother Steele was Minister for Health when it concluded and when we opened. And we fought for that because we knew the Western Coast, people on the Western Coast had challenges to get to General Hospital. Somebody who has an emergency from the time you leave Sotes to either go to Maribor or to St. George's. Maybe a life that could have been saved would have been lost. That polyclinic was built for that. But they don't have the staffing, so it's closed every night. And you know, when pain does hit you, and when heart attack does take you, and when stroke in the night and early in the morning, but it closed. So you still have to leave Sotes and Duquesne, Victoria Guave, to go all the way to St. John, and a facility is wasting. Up to now, nobody could tell us what happened to the equipment. But you need staffing. And we have to have that conversation. We're not blaming. But it's time that the government confronts and the ministry confronts the situation that we are short-staffed. In all of the health facilities, in the general hospital, we are short-staffed. Sometimes you don't have enough doctors and to do the work in that particular period. And I understand sometimes they have to beg the doctors from the ward to come and help in accident and emergency. No, nothing is wrong with that. But something is wrong when you do nothing. Something is wrong when you go all the way to Cuba and you don't bring back one doctor, not one nurse, but you make sure you bring a picture of yourself so that the people of Cuba could see your face in a picture. Something is wrong, brothers and sisters, and we have to speak up about that. So, brothers and sisters, we know it will be worse in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. The buildings have not been repaired. And on behalf of New National Party, I want to thank the doctors and the staff of the Samaritan's Purse for what they did for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Within 24 to 48 hours, those people were ready to deliver whatever assistance they could. In 2 months, nothing happening yet for Carriacou and Petite Martinique, and instead of that, you're causing them people, bonje. Cause go take us, you know. Cause go take us, according to our leader, that is real manje popot. Real manje popot. So, brothers and sisters, look, we cannot talk about all the issues now, but I'm so happy to see that you came out in short order. NNP called, and it's because you're feeling it in your stomach. It is hurting you. That's why you are here, so we can commiserate, so that we can still smile, because we know we have a team up here, and we have a team down there who cares for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. So, brothers and sisters, hold on. Don't give up. Each one of you has value. Each one of you can do something for your party and your country. Be ready to stand up. We love you. We value you. And what has been going on, it hurts us even more, because we know that you are the people, the farmers, the fishermen. And if you see farmers, fishermen boat you to crying. But I don't want to go back there. The farmers, the fishermen, all of you who do what you do to continue to live. And those of you who didn't get 1 fortnight while people get 4, we're hurting for you. You can't buy books for your children. I don't want to talk. I go open up a new can of worms. Brothers and sisters, this People's Parliament has to continue. It's wonderful to see you. We love you. And may God bless all of us. Thank you.
NNPR 8. If liology, that's right, the tape doesn't lie. If liology was a subject, guess who getting a doctorate? And if they wrote a book, it would have been, oh God, that number 10. Manipulation 101 and propaganda 102. But all jokes aside, I say to you, be sober and be vigilant. Stand with the NNP because we are fighting for you. NNPites! This speaker is a very special one to me. She is the MP for St. Andrews Southeast. And let me tell you, if you do a Google search and you look for a confidant, a friend, a teacher, a motivator, a mother, the search results would show my MP, St. Andrews Southeast, Honorable Emlyn Pear. Welcome her as she speaks. Welcome her as she speaks on freedom of speech, housing, and education.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sister Amanda. We all love you too. Let me say this afternoon, warm greetings and welcome to our political leader, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. My distinguished friends and colleagues on the platform this afternoon, I recognize all former parliamentarians sitting here this afternoon and members of the executive of the New National Party. Permit me to also welcome and recognize this afternoon the stalwarts of the New National Party, the soldiers who never take out their boots, fighting for NNP. Brothers and sisters all, Grenadians, those who are viewing this afternoon, those who put country first, I say good afternoon and greetings to everybody. This afternoon, I was attempting not to start there, but I want to recognize a stalwart among us this afternoon, Sister Cheryl Williams. And you know, permit me, forgive me, but I feel extremely hurt at the attempt of a minister of government to disrespect a woman like her who is worth his mother over a plate of food. And I felt I needed to say that this afternoon because Sister Clarice Modeste would tell you, Sister Kate Lewis would tell you that each time Cheryl joins us for lunch, it is after we would have begged her to join us because so many others join others on the table. We have rights as well as government money that paying for the food is taxpayers' money. And so we ought not to attempt to disrespect somebody just because of their political affiliation. I just felt that I needed to say that this afternoon. Brothers and sisters, today we gather at a time when I believe there is a real threat to democracy in this country. Brothers and sisters, I believe there is a blatant attempt to stifle the voice of the elected MPs of the opposition in Parliament. Brothers and sisters, I say this afternoon, there is a real threat to the basic fundamental rights that we have as citizens of this country. But I believe without a shadow of a doubt this afternoon that the more you try to stifle the NNP, is the stronger the NNP will rise. Brothers and sisters, no attempt. You know, some people were rejoicing because they felt that this meeting would not happen this weekend. But I say to you, if we could not go to GSS, we're going to come to the Trade Center. When NNP call, our people are going to answer. So you felt because we couldn't go GSS, we couldn't meet this evening. Put your hands together for the supporters of the new National Party. NNP is number one. Brothers and sisters, nothing will stop this party from fighting for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Absolutely nothing. So I want to address this evening, brothers and sisters, what to us is a blatant hypocrisy that exists in this country, brothers and sisters, that is backed up by a level of bullying aimed at stifling the voice of those who wish to speak against the government, and that is our right as well. Nobody should prevent you from wearing your band. Brothers and sisters, the things that some people spoke out about some years ago, the things that some people condemned some years ago, the things that some people had a voice about years ago, today these same people praise the very sad thing that they condemned some years ago. A perfect example, brothers and sisters, as was mentioned earlier, is the CBI program. Brothers and sisters, we were told that this program is a form of selling the birthright of our people and our nation. Brothers and sisters, we were criticized for this program. But guess what? Today, the same people who condemn that program is the same people who are opening offices, selling passports. Same people. It is the same people, brothers and sisters, who describe the program as the #1 income generating project for the government of Grenada. We have absolutely no problem with that program, but our question today is, what is happening with the monies from the CBI program? How is it that until now, brothers and sisters, a house cannot be started in Carriacou and Petite Martinique when you boast that you've made billions, millions from the CBI program? Brothers and sisters, we are saying that you can use these resources to support the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Brothers and sisters, I want to remind us, because sometimes we tend to forget, when some of our members did not attend the launch of the independence celebration, we were described as unpatriotic, even if we all attended the national rally at the stadium. But brothers and sisters, some persons don't remember that only some years ago, the national stadium celebration on Independence Day was boycotted by the NDC to have a celebration at Camerhorn Park. I am saying, let us call a spade a spade. Let us call a spade a spade. Something cannot be wrong because NNP is in office, but it automatically becomes right because NDC is in office. Brothers and sisters, we recall the NDC in opposition. I don't think we've had an aggressive opposition in the history of this country as the NDC. People are allowed to say what they want, when they want, how they want. Brothers and sisters, they describe it as freedom of speech. They said the people's voices must be heard. But today what we see, very interestingly, that the ordinary supporters of the NNP are bullied on social media just for expressing their views. Brothers and sisters, we are saying what is good for the goose is good for the gander. And if it was freedom of speech under the NDC, it must also be freedom of speech under the NNP. Doesn't matter which government is in office, people must have a right to express themselves. Brothers and sisters, I say to us today, let us not forget that the opposition has a responsibility. The opposition must not abdicate its responsibility. The opposition has a right to scrutinize the government in any part of the world. The opposition has a right to criticize the government. The opposition has a right to speak up on behalf of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And I say to us tonight, those rights will not be trampled upon. Those rights would not be stifled because this opposition will play its role on behalf of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Brothers and sisters, that is why as part of our role, we continue to advocate for the people who are in need. They say we continue to call them poor and vulnerable. But I say to us this evening, any part of the world that you go, the last time I checked, people in poverty in the United States of America was some 11, 12%. There will always be people who need the support of a government. And so this evening, brothers and sisters, we advocate and we call on the government of this country to look out more for those in need. Brothers and sisters, thousands of mothers right now are contemplating and trying to decide how they are going to go through this new school term. Thousands of people who would normally receive a voucher from the government to aid in the preparation for school have not yet received. Brothers and sisters, the transportation assistance that has always been provided by our government and other safety net programs that have been removed, we are calling on the government to restore those programs for the poor and vulnerable and those who need it throughout this country. So we are saying to the government in the coming weeks, please provide support for those persons who have not been able to receive the support during the holidays. We are calling on this administration to restore the debushing program as an opportunity for vulnerable families to have access. We are saying it's not too late. Add another 2 fortnights, even if school would have been reopened, so many of our students would be able to get the assistance that are needed. Brothers and sisters, we are calling on the government to pay the $600 that was promised to those who are elderly and in need. Brothers and sisters, when you look at the cost of medication, in some cases doubled what it was in 2022. We are saying, look out for those who are in need and need the support from this administration. Brothers and sisters, we are calling on this administration. The promise that was made to make all workers permanent, to make all Imanis permanent, we are saying as an opposition, push ahead with that promise. we are saying to push ahead with that promise. Brothers and sisters, the 1,000 houses, 2022-2023, remember that promise? 500 Grenadian-style houses for persons in need. As an opposition, we are saying to the government, this is not a situation where you don't have the monies. Revenues from CBI and other revenues put the government in a good position that they can do this. And we are saying that you must be held accountable to provide these houses. But you know what is crazy? Even when the government promises to build 1,000 houses, 2022-23, brothers and sisters, do you know that the government has over 600 units that they inherited from the previous administration, and most of them are empty today? But what is even worse, brothers and sisters, what is painful is that while these units remain empty, there are people in Carriacou and Petite, Martinique who are wetting. And as Brother Cox says, they are given tents. Brothers and sisters, where is the compassionate empathy for these people? We are appealing to this administration to ensure that these people have access to these facilities. Brothers and sisters, we were given some figures, and those figures said from the Housing Authority that 647 housing units were donated by the government and people of China. Thank you. We've always known, and if there's any person who was part of the NNP administration who doesn't know, that these units were donated for people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique in the low-income bracket, and those who cannot afford, then something has to be wrong. Brothers and sisters, the statistics from the Housing Authority says to us that only 18 of those units have not been assigned. I heard the wow, and that was our reaction, because we want to know who are the persons who would have benefited from those units. Because many people will tell you that if you pass by those units, most of them are unoccupied. But the report of the government is saying that only 18 of those units are not assigned. Something must be wrong somewhere. Brothers and sisters, you cannot have a heart and watch an empty housing unit and then at the same time turn around and look at a man that is wetting in the rain and feel comfortable passing him by. Something must be wrong. Something must be wrong. Brothers and sisters, in opposition, the NDC said it was a criminal act to have not assigned those housing units before the election. Well, I ask today what kind of act it is that 2 years after, and with the passage of a hurricane, you still will not assign those units to those in need. We are calling on the people who have the keys to those units to please assign them accordingly. We see housing as a very basic need, and it is very difficult for us to understand why at this time until now the rebuilding process has not started in Carriacou. Let me tell you what was the last report from St. Vincent. The last report from St. Vincent said 571 homes on the way. 2 weeks After the hurricane, the government started rebuilding houses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But when you call on this government to start the process, people defend them, saying give them time for people to die. Brothers and sisters, the government of St. Vincent, and I believe without a shadow of a doubt that we have more financial resources here than they have. 171 housing units completed, repaired by the government of St. Vincent, according to their report. Something must be wrong. And that is the problem, because there are people who will never see this government succeed, because rather than encouraging the government to do better, they are defending everything that this government does. So when we say to government, free tuition for students is not enough, we say to this government, and it may sound funny, but give a child free tuition and take away transportation and tell me what's going to happen. So there are so many students who receive free tuition to TAMCC but cannot take up the free tuition. Brothers and sisters, check New Law. There are students in New Law who receive free tuition, but they could not apply. They could not apply to continue, brothers and sisters. Many of them had an interest, but they say to you they cannot, because free tuition alone cannot do it. And I pity the children of Carriacou and Petite, Martinique, brothers and sisters. Because when Brother Cox said only 1 week ago, the minister showed up in Carriacou as it relates to the reopening of school. Brothers and sisters, I said this is not an excuse that the minister had to travel, because there are people that could have acted on behalf of the minister if he had put the system in place. So you can't travel on vacation knowing that you have a disaster of this magnitude in Carriacou. You know what I say, brothers and sisters, this evening? Thank God that this hurricane did not hit the whole of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Crapper with a smoke with pipe. Because if you have proven that you cannot manage things in just Carriacou and Petite Martinique, well, God help us. We cannot take a disaster here of that magnitude on the mainland. So, brothers and sisters, God is good. All the time, God is good. And I encourage you to trust God. I encourage you to support the New National Party. I encourage you, when NNP call, you must answer, because we are ready when you call on us to lead this country to a better place, to where we are today. Stand for your rights. Do not be victimized. Do not be bullied. Speak up for your rights. You have a right. You have a right. Stand for your rights. God bless you.
NNPites! Millions of dollars spent on lights and 5 million on health is a bit ridiculous. Bashing anyone as a minister over a plate of food is a new low. Or you're too big for that. It have a song that says, you had to stop that. They had to stop that right now. Don't watch me, I can't sing. Brothers and sisters, it takes guts and belly, real belly, to stand firm in the midst of your adversary and say, I will not be moved, because I believe in the truth. There is a saying, stand for something or you will fall for anything. But it baffles me sometimes, because it's quite funny how we speak on things like transparency, accountability, yet we lie so often and so passionately. I say to all of us, never apologize for telling the truth. NMPites! NMPites! Stand up, stand up, stand up. Listen to this. He is the most charismatic, energetic, brilliant, remarkable, a stalwart, the best prime minister that Grenada has ever seen. He's our political leader. He's all of that and more. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, brothers and sisters, our political leader, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell.
Woy. My dear sister chairperson, all you see NNP future around, watch the chairperson, sisters and brothers. NNP future is getting brighter and brighter every single day. The stalwarts are around, but the new generation coming forward. Friends, let me first do this. We have this session here today because of what transpired in Parliament. There was the catalyst for this meeting. And I think, therefore, I want to compliment and give a lot of credit to the NNP parliamentarians who are representing us in the House of Parliament last Tuesday. All the MPs, sisters and brothers, I want to recognize every single one of them. That's the first thing I want to do here. I want to recognize Brother Peter David. You take a stand. Stand up and be recognized. I want to recognize Sister Kate Lewis. Sister Clarice Modest Cohen. And Sister Emily Pear. Sisters and brothers, I say to you this, because when I was asked to withdraw a statement that I made, which was clearly coming from what was said by a certain gentleman, the speaker clearly does not understand the fundamental rules of the Parliament. The speaker proceeded to ask me to withdraw without even asking for proof, without even giving an opportunity for the system, the parliamentary procedures to be followed. In other words, the gentleman does not have a clue about Parliament. But sisters and brothers, when he did tell me that he's suspending me, that I cannot speak, and in effect he was telling me that I have to leave the House, I did not, let me make this point, I did not ask the other members of the House of Representatives representing you to leave with me. They collectively say, if you can't speak, all of us go in. And that's why I ask you to give them a tremendous round of applause for standing for unity. Unity of the new National Party. And that is what Grenadians are looking for. Grenadians are looking for people that stand up for them. And in that context, what we have today in the new National Party was built on the sacrifices of a lot of people who are not necessarily in parliament of the country, but because of their sacrifices, we are here today, standing on their work and their labor and on their energy. In that context, I want to recognize the deputy political leader of a new national party, Gregory Bowen. Gregory, stand up and be recognized for your service and continued dedication to the new national party. I want to ask, the party is the foundation of where we are. That's our organ. And the chairman of our party, Brother Oliver Joseph, stand up and be recognized for your presence here this afternoon. Brother Dabrio, our quiet stalwart from St. John's, he's here with us. Brother Dabrio, stand and be recognized. Brother Nimrod, take a bow. Brother Bello, take a bow. Brother Gawe, take a bow. And all of you here, sisters and brothers, bow to each other. You are the lifeblood of the new national party. Sisters and brothers, sisters and brothers, I think Sister Emlyn spoke. I remember I was watching the Democratic Party convention in the United States. You remember that? I watched it religiously. And Michelle Obama came and spoke. You remember? And she had the house crashing down. And then Obama had to come. You know what he said? He said, oh, all you could do that to me to ask me to speak after Michelle Obama. And therefore, I ask you all, how you all could ask me to come and speak after Emily Pierre here tonight. It's not fair, but I will try my best, as Obama did. Sisters and brothers, there's an attempt to instill fear in the politics of this country, to make you afraid to stand up for your right. What these people, especially this gentleman, I'm not even going to call his name, don't know, because he never had a history of sacrifice for this country. They never understood the struggles that many of you went through to make it to where you are today. They don't understand this. And therefore, they will not know that they cannot make you afraid to stand up for what is right for yourselves and your family and your country. The politics of vindictiveness, hate, and spite. You get the impression, sisters and brothers, that some of them believe that the taxpayers' money is for those privileged boys in the National Democratic Congress. Not even for those hard workers of the NDC who brought them into government. They are treated like spoils, sisters and brothers. They believe that only a few people must benefit from the development of this country and from the resources of this country. That's how they're operating, but they're digging their own political grave, sisters and brothers. The politics of incompetence is what's prevailing in this country. Your monies are being wasted. Every project is cost overrun by millions and millions of dollars, and no work is done. Everywhere you pass on the road is some big piece of road being cut off, and you don't know what they're doing, digging hole, digging drain. You don't know who doing what. It's all chaos, sisters and brothers. Sister Clarice spoke to you about health, the state of our health care, sisters and brothers. But one thing that troubled me the most, and something, colleagues, a lot of you may not understand, and that's probably one of the most serious things plaguing our country now, is the destruction of our institutions. Sisters and brothers, the Public Service Commission is supposed to be an independent body managing the public service of this country and giving us quality service. Millions and millions of dollars were spent by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the British Development Division, and other friendly, and the European Union. Help us to put systems in place to ensure that the best public servants are placed in positions to help continue to build this country. But you have to have an independent Public Service Commission. Check the records, sisters and brothers, I speak to you tonight. Check the records of the persons who were chairperson of the Public Service Commission and other members that government chose to be involved in that Public Service Commission. Sisters, today the Public Service Commission take out the 2 members from the trade unions are behaving as members of a political organization, victimizing people who they perceive to be not close to the government. That's the perception. In other words, people are being promoted and demoted based on what their perception is, sisters and brothers. In other words, a lot of damage is being done to your country through the Public Service Commission at this particular time. And we need to speak out, and I will not hold my voice back, sisters and brothers. You must know, because some of them pretending to be nice and dandy, but behind the scene they're doing a lot of dirty work for this government. And therefore we will call them out. Sisters and brothers, we have to call them out. Sisters and brothers, you just have to look at the appointments at the top level of the public service, and you see what I'm talking about. I don't have to call names. Just check the records. The Police Service Commission is being destroyed, sisters and brothers. People are being demoted and transferred and promoted based on the perception of political association. When you interfere with the security of the country based on politics, you're endangering the entire country and the future of our children. Let us not play with this, sisters and brothers. This is a serious matter. You're dealing right now with a demoralized police force because members do not feel that is your promotion or where you stand in the force is based on the amount of work you do or the performance of your work. So the police force and the security of the country seriously is being threatened, sisters and brothers. Another institution, the Grenada Development Bank. Sisters and brothers, the Grenada Development Bank was a bank meant to help. When it was established under the Grenada United Labour Party, it was supposed to be the agricultural bank to help the farming community. And later on, it became a development bank to help all sectors of the society, tourism, agriculture, small business, and so on. I remember, sisters and brothers, when we got into government in 1995, sisters and brothers, there was literally no money in the Grenada Development Bank. We built that bank, sisters and brothers, and ensured that millions and millions of dollars was available for small loans for farmers, for fishermen, and for small business throughout the length and breadth of the country. People never came to me as Minister of Finance or any Minister of Government and asked them to go and give you a letter to go and get a loan from the bank. They provided their documents and they got support based on their ability. And many members and supporters of this present government could testify that they got loans from the Grenada Development Bank. Sisters and brothers, they got into government, and what did they do? They decided to share up the money in the bank for themselves. One minister will get $1.7 million and another one $2-point-something million. Sisters and brothers, and others more. Even members of the board of directors of the GDB taking loans. Some members, or I want to qualify this, some members, not all. And that is why I say, when I see $25 million of the monies that's supposed to go to help the people of Carriacou and Petite and the small business to be resuscitated, when I see that money is going to the GDB, I said, I cannot support this, because the same chairman of the board of GDB is still there. And not one member of the board has been changed. Therefore, in other words, expect the same thing to happen, sisters and brothers. I said, therefore, this so-called loan for small business, and they're telling you to go there and get 50,000 so on. I hope and pray some get. But watch it. Mark my word. You will see a lot of them collecting the people's money, sisters and brothers, because of their connection with this government. Sisters and brothers, the parliament of the country is being destroyed. The parliament is being run as if it is an arm of the government of the day. The parliament is supposed to be independent. It's not an arm of the government. And I had to tell the Prime Minister on many occasions, you are not in charge of the parliament of the country. I have to say that so many times. I told him, you are not in charge of the electoral office. The electoral office is supposed to be under the guidance and control of the Governor General, not the Prime Minister. But it seems, sisters and brothers, I don't know. I cannot say that I believe that that's the case today. Sisters and brothers, that incident that occurred in Parliament, I want to say a little more on this. I recall in 1993, I was a lone member of the opposition representing the NNP, and the government was the National Democratic Congress in government. I remember being in Parliament, and as you recall, I spent almost 2 days dealing with the government and their policies and their programs, and it became very hot. And one member stood up and asked me to withdraw some statement which was absolutely accurate, and I said I would withdraw. And I remember then the speaker proceeded to tell me that if I don't withdraw, that he will have me thrown out of the parliament. I don't think he used the word thrown out, but that was in effect what he meant. And I said, well, Mr. Speaker, you have the power to do what you want, but I will not withdraw, something I know that's correct. I'm giving you this to show you the difference then to now. And he said to the sergeant of arms to get me out. Immediately, a leading member of the government side, I'm not going to call you names here, you may know who I'm talking about, got up and he said, Mr. Speaker, let's call for a break. Call for a break to cool our heads. So Parliament recessed for 10 minutes. And I went in the room with that member and the speaker. You know what the person said? He said, Dr. Mitchell, I know you want us to throw you out, but we ain't throwing you out because we know you're going to make old mass outside there. The member was smart enough to understand that it's not in their interest to have me out of Parliament on something that they could be embarrassed with. Check that, compare that with what happened today in the Parliament. The leader of the country sat there and watched the actions, and not a man move, so to speak. Not a man move. And that is the state of play In other words, I'm comparing the National Democratic Congress of 1990 to 95 to the one today. I'm also comparing it with the one of 2008 to 2013. This present NDC is the worst government this country has ever seen. Sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers. My take-home pay as Prime Minister was about $7,200. Other ministers was just over 6,000 something. I remember at one time we were thinking that members of the government wasn't fair. They were getting no increases when public servants were getting 4% or 5% increase. And I remember we are saying it's not fair, members of the government should get. And I promised, I called a certain person from the trade union movement and said that we believe that it's right for the persons to get this, to get that 5% increase. And so I'm alerting that individual. I won't say it's a man or woman, but I think you can conclude who that person is. Sometimes we have to call out each other in our positions. And I said, I expect that you would not comment on this because it is morally correct. The person said to me, you may do it, but we're going to make a lot of noise and we'll give you enough licks from the trade union movement. Just for a 5% increase. Today, the present government raised salaries of ministers by $6,000 in just a few months. And not a drum was heard. That is what we're talking about, sisters and brothers. Not a drum was heard, sisters and brothers. I say this because it's morally wrong for us to conduct ourselves in that way. We have to stand for what is right. It doesn't matter which government is in office. It doesn't matter which section of the society existing in a certain position. What is right must always be right. And what is wrong must always be wrong, sisters and brothers. So an increase, $6,000, and in a way that it not be put under tax. It was under allowances, so it would not be taxable. Because if they put it under salaries, the income tax man will get piece of the action. That is what we're talking about here, sisters and brothers. So, my friends, I want to go to that situation with Beryl and Carriacou. You know, it worries me. Really worries me. That here we have a government in office through when Ivan came, and we saw the damage. And as members already told you, we joined CRIF. And therefore, they got $118 million in just 14 days after burial. $118 million EC. And remember, sisters and brothers, when they came into government, they said they shocked by keeping them leave all the money by $500 million. You remember the treasury was pregnant? You remember that? Sisters and brothers, you remember that we had instituted the Citizen by Investment program, and we had a limited number of successful applicants. They came in and thousands were given. In other words, they had a lot of money from the sale of passports. So count the $500 million that we left. Put the $118 million that they just got. count the thousands of passports that have been sold. They should have a lot of money to solve the problems of the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique and the farming community throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Sisters and brothers, Samaritan Purse came in, and I was up in Carriacou and Petite Martinique, and I saw them all over the place. And our young brother, Devon Rocher, was with them, sisters and brothers, working his tail off to helping the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique as a religious person. Sisters and brothers, we have to give credit where credit is due. Sisters and brothers, so this so-called excuse for the supplementals, I want to read to you many of the supplementals and ask yourself if you can understand where this money is going. I want to read it. $3.8 million to buy vehicles because of burial destruction by burial and play taking licks as a woman, no? For these boys and them behavior, no? Burial caused so much damage, and by $3.8 million of vehicles. Cox, they say for Carriacou, I don't know, you get one? You ain't get one. Now these guys, they bold face, you know. Listen this. Well, I told you already, $25 million, they say they put in GDP. Well, you know what's going to happen there. $2 million to replace the computers that burial destroyed. $2 billion for burial destruction of computers. $8 million for rehabilitation of small roads. 26 houses also in that allocation to build new houses in St. Patrick's. St. Patrick's, wait for them houses, you know, I hope you see them. I'm giving you a number so that you watch what's happening in your area when these boys come. $15 million to build 200 homes in St. Mark's and St. Patrick's. Well, Cox gave you some mathematics already. I don't need to bore you with this because they say it's $50,000 a house they're giving. So if it's $50,000 and you're building 2,200 homes, that is $10 million. So the $5 million, what they call that? What they call that? Tips. What they call that? No, no. Dabs, you must know something about that. You and Oliver. Tips. Is tips they call it? What? No, I ain't going there. Listen to that other one. Listen to that other one. $1.5 million for MIT. That's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. MIT, that's in Boston, in the United States. To clean up Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Wait again. $5.4 million for Solid Waste Management Authority for a plan that they wanted to build for Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Plan, you know. Solid Waste Management Plan for Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Cox, watch that. Another $1.6 million for cleanup of marinas. I'm reading all, you know. $5 million for uniform, furniture, and general school supplies. $5 million to replace medical equipment and supplies to ensure the restoration of adequate health facilities in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Words, you know, words for so. $2.8 million for fisher folks. Then tell you what fisher folks, how they get in it, nothing. Listen this, $23 million to support the Agricultural Emergency Response Program. Sisters and brothers, the total and all the other numbers I did not call is $268 million. $268 million And a lot of them, you can't tell which ministry is in charge. Works billing some, MIT billing some, social services billing some. It's a real callaloo, sisters and brothers. As somebody said a while, manje popot, sisters and brothers. But the point we have to make, sisters and brothers, there was a time they used to say that the NNP is a corrupt government. And they accused myself and Gregory Bowen and others of massive corruption. Not one of them have been able to prove anything against any one of us. But listen to that one, sisters and brothers. Listen this carefully about the guy's intention since they came into government. We had a limit on public expenditure for wages within the public service, the wage bill. In other words, we wanted as much money to be spent in developing the economy of the country, bringing investors, and providing support for small business, for the agricultural sector, for tourism, and so on. So we're limiting what the people, the bureaucracy, the size of the bureaucracy, and the amount of people within the public service, and we call it a wage bill of maximum of 9%. All these decisions helped us to get enormous amount of resources from international community and other sisters and brothers. But listen to this. My friends, as soon as they came in, they moved it to 13%. They increased it up to 13%, the wage bill, because they had to increase the salaries of themselves so that they would not have broken the law. So before they went and to increase their salaries, they went and changed the law to make it up to 13%, to give them that massive room to spend as much as they want. But before I go further on this point, I wanted to say something about this, about the Beryl and Ivan situation. You know, the guys had the boldness, the audacity to tell the people of Grenada. Some of them wasn't even born when Ivan came. Some of them just maybe little children and they just hear something. They said, how when Ivan came, I went on a battleship. You heard that, right? And how Deacon helicoptering all over the place in Carriacou every second was on the ground. Sisters and brothers, these people cannot tell the truth. Our sister said it. They don't know how to tell truth. My friends, Grenada was smashed up, as you know, destroyed. It's not like what we have today. A section of the country was damaged. The entire country, the roads were not passable. Water services were interrupted. There were no communications in the country. President of the United States was trying to reach me and could not reach me. He sent a special telephone from Barbados through the embassy in Barbados, flying with a telephone. And I had to go a certain section of my home to get communication, to talk to the President of the United States. Friends, that was the connection of the New National Party at the time, talking to George Bush of the United States. And he asked me to come to Washington the following few days. And I went, and he made arrangement with the international community for serious support to help. And he called me when he was, at that time, campaigning, sisters, for re-election, for elections in the United States. He called me on Air Force One, and I was in a meeting at the IMF in Washington. They told me I have a special call in a special room at the IMF. When I went in there, was the President of the United States. He asked me when I'm returning. I said by a couple of days. He said, well, I'm sending Colin Powell, the Secretary of State, to Grenada, and I want you to be there. Secretary Powell came to Grenada the following day as soon as I reached, sisters and brothers, and spent the entire day with us. And before he left, he announced over $40 million support to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite, Martinique. But I'm saying this to say, we were all over the country, visiting schools, visiting places. I remember I went to St. David's. I went to St. John's, St. Patrick's, all over the country. My friends, you know what happened then? We had no communication. So the British ambassador sent a delegation to be at Happy Hill, and he said, listen, the entire world. So the incident with George Bush came after this. I'm going to tell you about the story of the British with his battleship. He said, the whole world waiting to hear from you. They're not hearing anything from the Prime Minister because you have no communication. And that's almost a week and a half after Ivan struck, and we are all over the place. He said, we have a communication system on the battleship outside of the harbor right there. If you could come and spend an hour or so with us, we could have you talk to the world because the world want to hear from you. So I listened to them and went with them for 1 hour to talk to the world, sisters and brothers, about the damage in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And these. My mother tell me not to cuss. But that is the kind of people that is running the country today. My friends, I am proud that we have this team and you all standing with us to take care of this beautiful country of ours. I'll give you another. I told you about the increase in the wage bill. My friends, Minister of Finance, then government, Gregory Boyne, and the cabinet decided that if we're going to give contract to people, they must go through the tendering board. So we put a limit on the amount that you can just give out as contract without going to the tenders board. And we put it down as $15,000, sisters and brothers, maximum. So anything above this, you have to bid and you have to go through a process. So the politician cannot just give all kinds of money to persons without accountability, sisters and brothers. I am telling you what they did as soon as they came in with the wage bill. Immediately as they came in, they went to Parliament. And they moved that amount from $15,000 to $100,000 overnight. So contracts can be given $100,000 to anyone in the street. And there is no accountability for it because the Parliament they brought gave them the permission to raise it and give contracts. So some of them playing with the people's money, my friends. I'm trying to show you the emphasis was about taking care of themselves. When the NMP came into office, the initiative we did was about taking care of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. But they themselves, every action was about themselves. And the last one I want to point out, sisters and brothers. The last one, sisters and brothers. My friends, no, you don't make people that are not important. All right? So listen, my friends. We, in managing the affairs of the country, said we want to keep the debt of the country to a limit. There's something called the debt to GDP ratio. GDP represents the sum total of all activities in the country, and the debt is the debt you incur. So we want to keep that ratio small as possible. So we had it down with the international community to 55%, so that you can't spend more than you earn, sisters and brothers. They made a decision and they went to Parliament to move it from 55% to 60% to give them more room to incur more debt on the people of this country. So everything they did in the early stages was about themselves. So every action you see them take now is about themselves, sisters and brothers. I am so proud. I am so proud that you are here today knowing that we are supposed to be in St. Andrews this evening, and you got a call that we have to change to come to the Trade Center. And look at the numbers of you here. Look at you here, sisters and brothers. You know why you are here? Because you believe in the new national party and you believe in the development of this beautiful country of ours. And that's why I am proud. I am proud of the leadership that you see on stage here, the leadership you see down here, there, and more coming to continue the development of this beautiful country of ours. So I say to you, stand firm, hold tight. We will never let you down. The NNP will rescue the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite. Thank you and good evening.
NNPites! I start to get hoarse already, you know. Thank you very much, our political leader. To all the youths sitting here today, I wouldn't be long. If your desire is growth and self-development, if you're interested in making a difference, if you desire to lend your voice regarding issues occurring within our country, or meet like-minded individuals who have a passion for people, charity, and community service, I would implore you to join your constituency youth arm so that you can make a significant contribution to your nation. There is a gentleman at the back, right at that table. There's a woman as well. You can give your name there. I am a firm believer in giving flowers to people before they die. To the members of our National Youth Arm, I cannot leave without saying thank you for your hard work today and after Hurricane Beryl. Melissa, thank you for the beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Beautiful voice, beautiful soul. And when I call your name, just make a quick stand. I'll just run through this briefly. Natasha George Cummins, Evert, Curtis, Teresia, Alistair, Alian, Christelle, Tarek, Jessica, Trisha, and Deron. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate and love you. I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for your time and your unwavering commitment to the new national party. Your presence is a testament to the passion and hope we all have for a brighter future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. NNPites, we love you all and get home safe. Oh. Wait, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, let us pray. Mr. Garraway, kindly come to give the closing prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We came expecting that you're going to show up, and you did in our midst. We thank you for all the speakers. We thank you, Lord, for our political leader, whom you have used to inspire us. And every other member on the platform, we thank you, Lord, for using them. And as we've received, we're going to give back. We're going to go into the communities and to speak the word and to help our people to understand the challenging times that we're living in. And Father, as we go, we ask you to go with us. Go before us. Keep us safe. Protect us, Lord. But most of all, keep us together. In Jesus' name, amen.